Hello and welcome to another episode of the Messy Magic podcast. I'm your host, D Guy. Today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a rant on relationships and the role that they play in our lives, because I've been chatting with a friend of mine about this, and the more I think about it, the more I think it's something that we should all bring to mind about our relationships. Because relationships are messy, and I don't know any relationship that is perfect. And when I say relationship, I don't just mean romantic relationship. I also am talking about friendships, parenting relationships, co-workers, other relatives, distant friends, all kinds of relationships. And the thought that I've had and that I've been kind of mulling over in my mind is that relationships don't have to play every role in our lives. We put a lot of pressure, I think, especially on our closest relationships, those with our romantic partners, maybe our parents or siblings. We put a lot of pressure on those relationships to be a certain way, to fulfill a certain role in our lives. And I feel like we put undue pressure on those relationships to be everything. And if we took a step back for a second and realized that we can get fulfillment from different relationships in different areas of our lives, as in we can get fulfillment, everything we need from different relationships across the spectrum of our lives, I think it makes things easier. And it takes the pressure off, especially those closest relationships that we have. One of the things I've realized recently, and this is very personal, I am married, and, I love having these conversations about deep and meaningful things, as you'll see in my podcast, because I'm going to be talking to you about deep and meaningful things. My husband is not so much into those conversations. I can absolutely have a D&M with him. We can talk about deep stuff, but there are certain things that he's just not interested in going deep into. He's not as passionate about these topics as I am. Like, I could probably sit there for an hour or 2 hours with a friend who's on the same page as me or wants to debate something about these D&M topics. Whereas there's other things that I'm better off talking to my husband about, we're better off talking together about. And it's not really fair of me to expect him to be interested in all the topics that I'm interested in. I expect him to respect my interests and to at least show an interest in what I'm interested in, I guess. But I don't think I can expect him to show the same level of interest and to have the same depth of conversation with me about topics that I'm interested in. And the same goes the other way, I guess. And this is something I'm just thinking about now, but I'm sure there are things that he loves talking about that really aren't that interesting to me. And that's just one aspect of a relationship, I suppose. But I think there are so many different things that we get out of relationships, and not every relationship is going to give you the same thing. So that's just my bite-sized one for today. I know this could go a whole lot deeper, but I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a relationship coach. It's just a thought that I've had, that I think we place too much pressure on our relationships to be everything that we expect them to be, when maybe we could be looking elsewhere to be fulfilled for those things in different relationships of our lives. And this is also why I think it's important for us to have a range of relationships in our lives and not to put too much pressure on one or two to be the be-all and end-all. Not to even mention having an amazing relationship with ourselves and being fulfilled only by ourselves. That's a whole other topic, and one that I'm very passionate about as well. But I'm not going to talk about that today. So the takeaway today is just to think about whether you're putting pressure on any of the relationships in your life in any certain way, and maybe if your expectation to be satisfied in a certain way from one or two of your relationships, if you could be satisfied from other relationships that you have. I know this is all a bit vague, but I'm hoping that it's hitting home and that you can relate to it in some way and take away something practical that you can think about today. So I hope this has been a little bit helpful for your day today, and I hope you have a magical day.